Hi guys, my name is Darby and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, anything creepy, spooky, haunted, or D, all of the above. Today, specifically, I'm going to be talking about the time my friend Tyler and I did an overnight paranormal investigation at Pennhurst Asylum. To start, I'm going to give you a little history on both Tyler and I and Pennhurst. I have known Tyler since middle school, but we really solidified our friendship in high school when we started having more classes together and both were involved with theater. Since then, Tyler and I have both been interested in the paranormal, and I even found a tweet from 2014 where Tyler said, "Someone please join a paranormal society with me." And 5 years later, in October of 2019, we kind of got to live that dream together when we did this overnight investigation. While Tyler and I's history is fun and light, the history of Pennhurst is anything but. Pennhurst Asylum, also known as Pennhurst State School, located in Spring City, PA, first opened its doors in November of 1908 and became overcrowded within a few short years. Like many similar facilities at the time, Pennhurst was almost completely self-sufficient. It even had its own power plant on site to ensure as little interaction with the outside world as possible, which is sadly how the surrounding community preferred it. By the mid-1960s, 2,791 people were housed at Pennhurst, which is about 900 more people than the buildings could comfortably accommodate. Around this time, a 5-episode expose on the institution ran on the news called "Suffer the Little Children" and led to Pennhurst being branded as the shame of Pennsylvania. Still, it took 2 decades before Pennhurst finally closed its doors in 1987. Since its closing, Pennhurst has been featured on multiple paranormal investigation shows, like Ghost Adventures and Destination Fear, my 2 favorites, and is open for paranormal investigations to the public for anyone who's brave enough to try and willing to pay the money. With your admission fee, you get access to paranormal investigation equipment, such as REM pods, spirit boxes, and EMF detectors, and you're also more than welcome to bring your own equipment. The tour guide would show you which building you were going into, and then you had free reign to roam as you saw fit. Off the top of my head, I know we had access to the Devon Building, the Mayflower Building, the Administration Building, which houses a museum-like exhibit about the history of Pennhurst with lots of old artifacts that are still intact, and some sort of old maintenance building. It was in this building that I caught some sort of weird light anomaly in a picture, which I'll put on the screen for you guys. It doesn't appear in any other pictures from this building or to this extent for the rest of the night, so while it's not definitively paranormal, it is certainly unexplainable. We started our investigation at 9 p.m. and concluded at 5 a.m., so it was a true overnight paranormal experience. Though, even if you're not into the paranormal, getting to wander around all the abandoned buildings is still pretty cool. I think Tyler and I's most compelling experiences happened towards the end of the night while we were in one of the tunnel systems that run below the entire campus. The 6 of us that were in our small group for the night were sitting down quietly and asking questions, and we decided to turn on the EMF detectors. There were 2 of them. I had one, and a guy in the group had the other one, and mine was going off, and his was not. He passed his to his girlfriend to give her a turn, and it started going off immediately. I passed mine off to Tyler, and while it was going off in my hand, it stopped in Tyler's. We passed the EMF detectors back and forth, guy to girl, and found that the EMF detectors were only going off when they were in a girl's hand, which is a little weird. We somehow got in our heads that we were going to see if this energy that was interacting with the EMF detectors would lead us anywhere. So we were being led through the tunnels, following only which way the EMF detector would spike. And it led us to this door. So me naturally was like, okay, let's go in. What's behind door number 2? And our tour guide informed us that we were actually not allowed in that building. It had been deemed too dangerous because there was said to be a dark entity that resided in that building that preferred female energy, but was known for physical attacks like scratches. I, of course, still tried to persuade my way in. I offered to sign whatever waiver they wanted me to sign. I tried to bribe the tour guide. I tried it all, but to no avail. They would not let me in. And come to find out, our tour guide, who was female, who had worked at Pennhurst for multiple years, still had not been allowed in that building. It was certainly the weirdest sequence of events that we experienced the whole night, and it's definitely a fun story that I like to tell people. In addition to EMF detectors, throughout the night we got to experience spirit boxes and REM pods firsthand, which as two people who really enjoy paranormal investigation shows was so cool to actually personally get to use, because I don't know if you guys know this, but those things are expensive. So Tyler and I certainly were not buying one for ourselves. I did, however, bring my own digital recorder for EVP sessions, but the funny story behind that is at around 2 o'clock in the morning, because this is an overnight, so you are staying up all night. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, Tyler and I cracked the world's largest Red Bulls. I'm telling you, the largest ones I could find, I took with us, and around 2 o'clock in the morning, we guzzled them down, and then from then on out, every time we did a digital recorder session, Tyler had to act like a professional paranormal investigator. You'll see on TV, if you watch them, when they do a digital recorder session, they will mark if they make a sound. Footsteps, shuffling, anytime they bump into anything, anytime they move the recorder, they mark those sounds so you don't mistake them as something paranormal. Tyler had to mark his stomach sounds because he does not drink energy drinks and it did not sit well with him. So I have plenty of audio files of Tyler going, "Nope, that's my stomach," or "That's not paranormal, that's my stomach." All in all, it was a really cool experience for someone who has watched ghost shows since they were a kid. Tyler and I actually ended up parking on the wrong side of this really massive campus because the directions were not very clear. So at 5 o'clock in the morning when we wrapped up, and our tour group was the last one to wrap up, Tyler and I got to walk, just the two of us, back across this massive, massive campus in complete silence. It had cleared out. It was the quietest I'd heard it all night. It was almost an eerie quiet, but it was so, so cool. Then Tyler and I left and got breakfast at a diner at about 5:30 in the morning because that's when diner food hits the best, at 5:30 when you've been up all night. Overall, this was a 10 out of 10 experience, and I would absolutely investigate Pennhurst again. However, I have an ever-growing list of paranormal places that I would love to investigate. We'll call it my paranormal bucket list. So if you guys would like to see more spooky content or would like me to do an actual video during an investigation, just let me know, because I'll absolutely do it. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!